Well, it's because of, I'm lacking confidence. And you dig into it, it's like, okay, so that's why you want to do it. It's not just because it's nice. And it's like, okay, so why is this important? Why, how do you think I can help you get that? And are you going to be happy doing that? Well, I think so, okay, let's explore that. And then we set up that kind of sense that, okay, well, there's a reason why we're doing this. I understand some of the complexities. Actually, I don't feel attractive, or I don't feel confident in my job, or I used to be like this, and now I'm full of injuries, and it's changing my sense of who I am. And you're like, okay, so this is what we're working with. And then the classes have a meaning. It's like, well, you're showing up now because like this is important, rather than it's just like, it wouldn't be nice to look good for a wedding. I know that most trainers maybe don't do that, but I don't have a huge client base. And so I spend 3 days a week with people. And I also know, and I know from my own experience where I think I've gone wrong in the past is that it's difficult to keep people on point long term. You can get results very quick. I mean, all of us can get results really quickly, but what's going to keep that person making progress so that eventually they're like our biggest advocate? They're shouting about us to their friends. They're shouting about, their friends are saying, how the hell did you make this change? That is a magic sauce, which I'm not sure I've cracked. Well, I haven't cracked it yet, but I kind of want to explore the process to get someone in that mindset where that could be the outcome. I don't know if I'll be successful, but I've got to think about it. Otherwise, I'm just ticking boxes, making sales, whatever. That's not really running my business.
No,
I've got to change business, not just, membership business,
You're doing the right thing, I think, in my opinion, because you said you've changed your language in the way you talk. But what you've said there, so I'm not a neurologist, but there is a neurological reason for why what you've said is a better way of looking at it. Because if you tell someone you're for them and you're going to work and they will get the result, they don't believe you unless they tell themselves that. Because if you believe what you tell yourself and what everyone else tells you, you don't believe it unless you actually tell yourself you believe it, if that makes sense. So what happens is, and this is where, and you'll have seen this, and maybe you know this or not, but you'll have seen this, where you convince someone, like James said, if you convince someone that something's going to work for them and they're still not sure, but they go, okay, you've convinced me, there's an internal struggle. Because in their own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors and actions and everything that they're doing in their own head, they're going, actually, no. And you're like, yes, it will. Okay, it will. No, it won't. No, it won't. Like behind, how many times do you say something in your head compared to how many times someone will say, how many times are you going to say it doesn't work compared to how many times you say in 3 hours a week, it does work? They're saying it the other 165 hours a week subconsciously on loop.
So you get suffering, don't you? You get the resistance, and then you don't see discomfort, you see pain.
Exactly. And that's why. And then as a trainer, you can be like, what did I do wrong there? And then as a client, they're like, I'm broken and this is ridiculous. I can't stick to anything. And then nobody wins. So that's the thing. Yeah. So it's qualifying someone straight away to say, are you ready for this? But that's not the question, is it? Because lots of people will say yes when they're not. So the thing is, if they can convince themselves why you're the person, then they've not convinced themselves, but they're now telling themselves, yeah, he's the person for me.
Well, they're the only one who can make the decision.
Sorry?
You can't make the decision for them, can you?
Exactly.